Governor Parson, you said it yourself, it was a pretty good day on Tuesday for you and your people you'd appointed and endorsed. So just overall, what are your thoughts on that success? Did you expect that much success?
Well, yes, I did, to be right honest about it. They were great candidates, both Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe, Vivek Malik, and Andrew Bailey, the Attorney General, were all people that I'd handpicked in my career, which is very unusual for a governor ever to pick 5 candidates, and those 3 were on the ballot Tuesday night. So I was very proud of the wins they had, very proud of who they were, and be able to weather some of the storms that they weathered with a lot of the negative ads that were put out there. But at the end of the day, people in Missouri, I think, is smart enough to figure out who good candidates are and try to keep things going in the same direction we've been. So my whole goal was, that's the future of our state, is to try to get them on there into positions where someday, who knows where they'll end up, but at least we know we have a bench now of some great people that's going to be moving forward in our state. So very proud of it. It was a great night for me as the governor, and a great night personally because of all these guys that I got to select to serve in those positions.
And kind of going off of that, I wanted to ask, what do you think that says about your legacy here at the Capitol and what voters thought of what you've accomplished?
Well, we'll let the history books decide all that, but you know, it's been a heck of a ride for me. I mean, we've had so many trials of things we've had to deal with since I've been governor. And the way I become governor, is it seems like it was a long time ago, but I want to make sure the next administration has a very smooth transition in place to be that governor's position. And then for me, you know, the one thing all 3 of these men that won the elections that had in common that I endorsed, they all come from very humble beginnings. They work hard, they treat people right, and they just want what's best for Missouri. And I think it's something that we've lost touch of someday, because I think some politicians are going out there anymore and they feel like you got to be somebody that's got a lot of money, or you've been born with a silver spoon, or you're entitled to become the next governor. I think people in Missouri are smart enough to figure out, hey, we want to pick who we want to do. We don't want influence from the East Coast trying to pick our candidates and all the money that comes in. I think people just want somebody to be a public servant like I was. So, you know, it was a good night for me. I got to be honest with you. It was. I was very proud of that night, and to end my term as governor with 3 big wins on a primary night. So it was good for the state.
How confident are you now going into the November elections?
I'm real confident. You know, I'm going to be out there. I'm going to be working to help them get across the finish line. Those are my picks. I mean, on the party side, I'm going to do everything I can to do that. But it's a little more personal because these guys that I asked to give up their careers, and they all had good careers in their own rights, and I asked them to come help me. And they've been through some of the toughest times in our state's history, whether it was COVID-19, civil unrest, tornadoes, droughts, train derailments, chemical spills, and I could go on, it seems like. But I asked them to give up their lives to help me be governor of the state of Missouri, and they all did, and they answered the call. And my job right now is to make sure I get them across the finish line in November. So I'll even be back out on the campaign trail a little bit as I finish up to ride off in the sunset before long. But it'll be okay. I think they're going to do fine.
When you say go out on the campaign trail, for all 3, or who are?
Well, definitely those 3. I mean, it's personal, but we got other candidates out there. That, you know, you got Lieutenant Governor's going to come up, Secretary of State, and I'm going to be out there promoting all of the people that's won office and trying to do what we can to make sure we build a good platform for the future of Missouri. The one thing I care about more than anything, me and Teresa both, we just want somebody to be a public servant, kind of what we've done, you know, and I hope by all means they do better than what we've done in our administration. But they're going to have to work their tail ends off to accomplish all the things that we've accomplished, and to have a team that I've had around me for 6 years. The people I've had around me is just second to none, and we've been through a lot together, and we've accomplished a lot. So I want them to continue to do what we built a foundation for, to build on the foundation.
You mentioned the Secretary of State, and we were just kind of interested, we were talking in my newsroom. What are your thoughts on the future of that office? Because it'll be a pretty new face coming into the
Well, I don't think there's any question about that. There was so many people running for Secretary of State's office. I think even with the win, when you win by 24% of the vote, you still got a lot of people that you got to answer to in a particular race like that. It wasn't like it's a landslide victory for anybody. And you got to figure out, okay, what does the people of Missouri want, and how do we make sure we continue to do what we've been doing? And I'll be honest about it. For most of our elections in the state of Missouri run very smoothly year in and year out. They've done a good job of that, the Secretary of State's in the past. We just need to continue doing that. We just need to make sure if by all means those election process is done right, you know, we get the right people in the right places to make sure we're doing it right. We don't want to be some of these other states that a bunch of crazy stuff goes on. And I believe we'll continue to do that in the state of Missouri.
Looking to November, what are your thoughts on, do you think the Republican Party can kind of grow its super majority here? I know that the Democrats are looking to take over some seats this election.
You know, I don't know how it's going to come up on the legislative side. I would say this, as somebody that's been through all the arenas before, I guess, the House and the Senate, and to be where I'm at today, people sometimes lose touch of reality when they come up here and they stay in this building too long and they start sensing the power and what it gives them, and all of a sudden they think they know what's best for people. I would tell everybody the one thing that they should remember, Democrat or Republican, you need to remember the first day you come up here and you had the opportunity to sit in a seat very few people get to. And you need to remember you're working for the people back home. And I think we're getting to a point anymore where it's about trying to make the headlines, trying to see who can be the most person on the left or the right, and try to get all the news media and just say some crazy things that they know they can't do. And the other thing, I think people's getting tired of candidates going out there promising everything and knowing good well they can't deliver, you know. Because at the end of the day, when you have to govern, which is what you have to do, you have to figure out how you get people to the table and how do you find solutions. And that's with both sides of the aisles. I mean, you can't do it just one without the other. But thank goodness in Missouri, I think when our administration started out, we wanted to talk about workforce development. We want to talk about infrastructure. Those are not political issues. Those are just good for everybody. And we just continue to focus on that this entire administration. And the one thing we know, it works. And by driving more jobs here, bringing companies here, keeping people in the education arena to know what the real workforce is going to be like, it's a great opportunity. And I mean, just as some of the things we've been able to do, you know, cut taxes, income taxes 5 times in a 6-year period of time as governor, and being smart about it. We put more money in people's pockets, and the one thing they do is they spend the money, and our revenues go up. So, you know, sometimes it's we try to make this thing pretty complicated, and sometimes common sense prevails, and hopefully somebody continues what we've done.
And I've got to ask, just for the sake of our own viewership there in Columbia, do you have any thoughts on the Boone County seat? Because I know that's kind of going to be highly contested this November.
Well, Boone County normally is. When you come up those open seats, it's very competitive up there. And, you know, the Columbia region up there is such a hub anymore in state government. You know, the university's there. You know, you got the new airport. You know, I-70 is going to be coming through there with the 6 lanes. That's going to be another opportunity for that city to grow. So it's really important they get the right person up here that's going to represent the people of Boone County and the surrounding area, to make sure that they come up here with the idea we want to do what's best for home, but at the same time they got to understand they are a state senator, and they got to do also understand what's best for the state of Missouri, and sometimes people lose track of that. But it'll be, I'd say it'll be an exciting time between now and November in Boone County, but we'll see how it goes out. But you know, whoever wins that election, you know, I just hope they understand, you know, like I said before, when you come up here, just be a public servant. Don't try to be anybody special. Just be a public servant trying to help people make things a little better. And I think as long as we keep sending people like us up here, we're going to continue going like we're going in the state of Missouri. We're on the right track.
You said something a couple of minutes ago that I just wanted to hit on about like being so far right or so far left, making promises, that sort of thing. And I was just wondering, why do you think voters chose Lieutenant Governor Kehoe over Secretary of State Ashcroft and Senator Bill Eigel? Any thoughts there on their positions versus Kehoe's?
Yeah, I think people at the end of the day, they look to see who's the most qualified person to lead the state. And it's not about commercials. You know, if you really go back to that election cycle, everybody was running commercials about China. I mean, everybody spent millions and millions of dollars, and these consultants and everybody made a fortune off of those commercials. The reality is there's not one candidate out there that supports China, not one, of all that money that was spent on that. And then I think what people did is they said, hey, I'm tired of hearing all that, and they start trying to feel like, okay, who is this person? Who is this person trying to go there? And what can they really accomplish? I mean, people get out there on the stump and they'll promise people the moon, you know, and knowing full well as governor, you can't promise a lot of things without the legislator saying it's okay to be able to work with them. And I think there's a lot of deception in a lot of what people say, and I think people figure that out at the end of the day. I believe the average Missourian, and again, I've been through this and know what it's like, they want to know if you're like them. They want to know what it's like for you to be a family man. What's it like in your personal life, not maybe just what you tell us, but how do you live? And people just care, and they want to feel like you care about them. And that's why they vote for you at the end of the day. I don't think the commercials is what they vote for. I think they're trying to figure out what's the best representation I want to have for me and my family. And I think of all the stuff that's said in campaigns, all the attack ads, I think at the end of the day, it's about the economy. People want to make sure they can make a living. They want to be able to have a job. They want to leave their house. They want to feel safe. And they just want good people doing good things. And they want to be left alone. They don't want somebody telling them what to do all the time. Most people are smart enough to think what they want and what they would like. And you got to trust people to do that. And I don't know. I may be a dying breed too, a different era, but I hope a lot of young politicians will come up and learn to say who they are and why they should be elected and what they're going to do when they get in there, and not all the political hype that you see. But I don't think there's any question if you want to be the far right and you want to be the far left, have at it. But at the end of the day, you're not going to get anything accomplished. It's always going to be the people in the middle that get the work done. So I just want to be genuine. I want to be who I am, and I hope I set example for future people coming up here to understand you don't have to be somebody you're not. Just be who you are, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. And now as that transition gets closer, I got to ask, any plans for once you're out of office that you can share? What do you plan on doing?
You know, I want to go back home. I want to go back home for a little bit, spend a little time with the family, grandkids, and be on the farm for a little while. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want to be in the political arena any longer. I feel like I've done my time. And I'll say this, there is a time you need to go home. And I think that's my time is now. You know, and I'm just going to enjoy life a little bit. I just want to know what it's like that first day to get up and realize I don't have a job no more, my phone's not going to ring, and I don't have to do anything. But we'll see. I'm going to enjoy it, whatever it is.
Yeah, as you should. Good.
Yeah.
Well, Governor Parson, I think, I'm going to run back through here. I think that's pretty much all that I had for you. Yeah, is there anything else that you want me to know or just want our viewers to know?
I would just say, hopefully I get to sit down with you and your station before I finish up, but I think I just want everybody to know what an honor and privilege it's been to be governor of this state, and how much I love the state and I love the people of the state no matter where they're from. There's just so many good things going on every day in our state, and we're just thankful we live in the Midwest. And like I said, it'd be one of the highest honors I've ever had, being the governor of this great state. And my oldest brother gave me a little advice when I first came here. He said, little brother, he says, make sure you got your head up when you come up here to be governor. Make sure you come home with your head up, and I plan to do that. So I plan to finish out and to go home and help with the next transition for the next governor, and enjoy life a little bit more than I am probably right now.